Hello everyone, Stingus here with Pro Guide, and today we're going to be taking a look at Vladimir. Vladimir is a decent choice for almost any team. So he's a tanky mage, so he fits in with the metagame and the fact that he's tanky. Vladimir has great damage output and great AoE damage, along with a huge slow and an outstanding escape mechanism. So let's jump right in. Vladimir's passive gives him more HP for the amount of ability power he has, and more ability power for the amount of HP he has. Of course, it doesn't scale with the passive, that would be ridiculous. Vladimir's Q ability is Cold Transfusion. This ability is his bread and butter. It has no cost and is on a short cooldown with decent damage, and it heals yourself when casted. Vladimir's W ability is his escape mechanism. What this does, at the cost of 20% of his HP, it drops him into a pool of blood, slowing all enemies on top of him, along with dealing damage and healing himself for a percentage of the damage done to enemies. Vladimir's E ability is his AoE damage. It has a small HP cost, and it scales up the more rapidly you use it, dealing more damage and costing more HP. Try not to spam it at low levels. Vladimir's ultimate is a game-winning ability. This is why everyone wants Vladimir on their team. Vladimir's ult is it hits everyone in a target location, putting a debuff on them for a couple of seconds, making them take 14% more damage. Once the debuff ends, it explodes, dealing a decent amount of damage. Hitting an entire team with this ability in a team fight will easily turn the fight in your team's favor. I'm going to go ahead and give you my rune setup and my masteries. As for runes go, of course you're picking up spell pen reds. You're going to pick up HP quints for more survivability in the early game. And then as for yellows and blues, it's choice between flat AP or AP per level. Your mastery setup is going to be a 9-0-21 build. Of course, grabbing the 15 spell pen in the offensive tree, and grabbing everything that doesn't have to do with mana in the utility tree. You might be thinking, why not go into the defensive tree since you're playing a tanky mage and your passive gives you more ability power for the amount of HP you have, but the reason for this is you're building yourself as an AP carry, not as a tank. So having the extra AP is just a bonus. The increased regeneration in the utility tree, as well as the increased experience gain and the movement speed buff, is all needed for Vladimir's playstyle. As for summoners goes, you want to pick up Ignite and Ghost. Instead of Ignite, you can pick up Flash if you want, but your ultimate will make Ignite do 14% extra damage. Now let's jump into the game. As the game starts up, you're going to want to pick up your boots and 3 health potions. You're going to need the extra movement speed since your early game is actually pretty weak before level 7. You're going to want to be in top lane over middle because the top solo revolves around getting ganked more and also around ganking enemy teams less. Since Vladimir is weak at the early levels, he can't really gank too strongly, and he has a great escape mechanism for all the ganks incoming. As the mid game comes around about level 7 or 8, you're going to want to start ganking people. You're going to have a really low cooldown on transfusion by then, and you'll be doing absurd amount of damage. The first time you go back, you should pick up a hextech revolver. The spell vamp and extra damage from this item will result in you being unable to be pushed out of your lane ever. You'll never have to go back, and take advantage of this. Go around harassing enemies, start roaming. Make sure they're aware that they're playing against a Vladimir. Use your pool to slow them on ganks, and use your transfusion to deal absurd amount of damage. Pick up your rylas crystal scepter when you can, and a magize if you feel like you're doing good enough. Your last few items should either be Force of Nature or Banshee's Veil if you're having problems staying alive. If you aren't, that probably means they're getting more magic resist over damage, so you'll probably want to pick up a Void Staff and a lichbane. I'm going to go over a few important things to note while playing Vladimir. Vladimir's early game is weak. Don't go thinking you're an overpowered powerhouse. I can't stress this enough. Vladimir's pool can be used to dodge incoming projectiles. Try to read your opponents. Try to know when they're going to ult you. And of course, pool it. Stuff like Vigor's ultimate, or Cho's Feast, or Xin Zhao's ultimate even. Vladimir's Q ability is great for healing yourself. Instead of going back, you could go ahead and heal off minions if you don't have enough money to buy a new item. During the later stages of the games, try to avoid using your ultimate on less than 2 people. Saving it for teamfight will really let your power shine. Look out for Cat and Xin in the lane. I found them to be the only 2 champions I had a problem with. If this guide has helped you out, be sure to hit the like button or subscribe to Pro LOL Guide. If you'd like to see more champion guides, of course subscribe to Pro LOL Guide. If you'd like to see my Vladimir gameplay, I will try to put a link on the screen and a link in the description below. Feel free to add me in-game and leave a comment, tell me what you think of this guide.